Hello everybody, how are we doing? Welcome to the terrifying world of Don't Starve. Don't Starve is an indie survival adventure game where if you die, it's game over, and if you don't know what you're doing, it can lead to a terrible outcome. In this guide, I hope to help get you started in Don't Starve so that you can thrive in this beautiful world. Before we start playing, let's go over what's on the on-screen HUD. We'll start with the most important part, the upper right-hand corner of the screen. It is here that you will see a few displays all represented by round circles. The biggest circle is the clock. It'll tell us the time of day, what number day we're on, and how long each light cycle is. The first light cycle is day, the second is dusk, and the third is night. The red circle displays your current health. When it runs out or hits 0, your character will die. The yellow circle displays your current hunger. When it runs out or hits 0, your character will start to starve and slowly take damage and lose health. The orange circle displays your current sanity. When it runs out or hits 0, your character will go insane and start to hallucinate. On the bottom of your screen, you can see your character's inventory, as well as a slot for hats, a chest back slot, and a slot for an equipped item. On the left side of the screen, you will see your crafting options. If an item can be prototyped, or crafted for the first time, it'll light up green. If an item cannot be prototyped yet, it'll be red. And if an item cannot be crafted at your current science level, it'll stay a pale blue color. When you get into the game, you'll want to start gathering supplies immediately. There are 4 important resources to gather in your first few days. These items are grass, twigs, flint, and wood. The 2 most vital of these resources being grass and twigs. The reason why these are the most vital resources is because without them you cannot make your first light source, the torch. If you are caught at night and don't starve without a light source, you will quickly learn that you cannot survive in the dark. Flint is another very important resource because it is essential for building your starting tools. The axe, which is used to chop down trees to gather wood, and the pickaxe, which is used to break rocks for more flint and gold. Food is also very important when it comes to surviving, but honestly you don't need to worry about that until you're a couple days in. But that doesn't mean you should ignore all those berries and carrots that are lying around. Make sure you pick them up as you go. Your main light source in the game should be a fire, and there are 2 types of fires in the game, the campfire and the fire pit. Campfires are temporary and will disappear when their fire burns out. A fire pit will never disappear, but you'll have to add more fuel to it to get the fire started again. Now that we've gone over the 3 early game light sources, it's time to talk about which one you should use on your first night. A lot of veteran players will tell you to make a torch on your first couple nights, that way you can stay mobile and continue to explore the map. I think this is a great strategy for players who have some sort of experience in the game, but for a beginner, I highly recommend building the regular campfire near the end of your first day. There are a few reasons for this. You can cook your food at a campfire, and you can plan out what you need to do next. You shouldn't build a fire pit until you're ready to settle down at a base, otherwise it'll be a huge waste of resources. So where should you build your base? A base should be placed with several things in mind. I believe the most important factor to a good base is a reliable food source. When I first started playing Don't Starve, I would often make a base with a lot of rabbit holes around, so that way I could lay down traps over the rabbit holes and catch the rabbits. This is not a bad strategy, and I still do it to this day, but like I said, there are other factors involved. There are 2 other resources you might want to find, but not exactly build your base in, but have close by. These resources are pig villages and beefalo herds. Pigs are very useful to have nearby because if you feed them meat, they'll become your friends for a short period of time. Pigs can help you hunt as well as chop down trees, which can make long jobs very fast. Beefalo are another great resource to live by because they provide wool, which can be attained when you shave them while they sleep. Beefalo are also an excellent defense strategy if you manage to lure something back into their herd. Just be careful though, Beefalo go into a mating season where their backs will turn red and become aggressive towards anything, including the player. So once you've found a good area where food is easily accessible and isn't too far away from a beefalo herd or a pig village, it's time to build a fire pit. After a fire pit is built, you'll always be able to view it on your map. The next big step in your base is building a science machine, which will require some gold. A science machine will allow you to start crafting more advanced tools and objects, as well as refine some of the basic resources to make them more useful. At some point within your first 15 days, you will start to hear odd noises that start quiet and then get louder. Your character will say something along the lines of, "Did you hear that?" This is the sign of a hound attack. Hound attacks happen every 3 to 13 days, becoming more frequent the longer you've survived. The first hound attack will bring 2 hounds. To fight them, I highly recommend you build a spear and a log suit from your science machine. The hounds are honestly not that hard to fight as long as you attack them quickly and try to fight them one-on-one. Or, you could watch the rest of this video to learn about a more advanced fighting technique called kiting. Now that you've got your base set up, it's time to start gathering supplies and preparing for winter. You're going to need a reliable food source that will be there throughout the winter. There are a few things that you should not rely on due to their anti-winter nature. This includes fishing and gardening. As mentioned before, a great source of food is bunnies, which can be easily trapped by placing a trap over rabbit holes. Bunnies are available all year round. Another great but more advanced source of food is koalefant hunting. Occasionally, you will find suspicious dirt piles that you can inspect to reveal a footprint pointing in another direction. If you follow the footprint, it will lead to another dirt pile that will become another footprint. Follow the footprints until you find a koalefant. Before fighting the koalefant, make sure you have a good weapon, such as a spear, and some good armor, like a log suit. It is also very important that you learn how to fight correctly and don't starve, so don't try this until you finish the video. Killing a koalefant will result in 8 large pieces of meat and 1 koalefant trunk, which is a very important item in crafting winter survival gear. Winter in Don't Starve is harsh and unforgiving. Most new players meet their end in their first winter, so preparing for it is essential. Winter arrives around day 21 and will end around day 36, which means there are 16 days of winter to worry about. During this time, the daytime is shorter, and you'll freeze to death if you stay away from a campfire for too long. There are some things you can do, however, to prepare yourself for winter. Earlier I mentioned that you should know where the Beefalo are before you start making your base. This is because their wool is needed to craft 2 basic winter survival items, the winter hat and the puffy vest. The puffy vest also requires the koalefant trunk, which I mentioned earlier. If you cannot find Beefalo to get their wool by the time winter starts, you can craft a thermal stone. A thermal stone can be dropped next to a fire to absorb heat. When it glows red, the user can pick it up to stay warm. When it turns blue, the user will need to drop it next to a fire to be heated up again. Do not use a thermal stone if you're using any form of warm clothing such as hats and vests. The effects will work against each other to make the user become colder faster. Make sure you also have plenty of wood and food during the winter. Be careful with resources like veggies, berries, grass, and twigs because plants do not grow back until winter ends. Something important you have to manage in Don't Starve is sanity. Your sanity will lower due to a number of environmental reasons, including weather, darkness, and monsters. If your character loses too much sanity, you'll go insane. When insane, the shadows you see will come to life and start to attack you. To gain sanity back, there are a few simple things you can do, like killing shadow monsters and eating certain types of food, like cooked green mushrooms. Sanity is something that even veteran players sometimes have a tough time managing, but if you stay on top of it, it won't be a problem. So now that you know the basics of survival, let's talk about the backbone of fighting in the world of Don't Starve, kiting. Kiting is the act of hitting an enemy and then running away to avoid their attacks. Almost every enemy in Don't Starve has a cooldown in between their attacks, so you can safely hit them before having to run away. For example, you can hit a Beefalo or a koalefant about 5 times before they'll attack next. Using this technique, you can kill almost anything in Don't Starve without taking a single hit of damage. Some enemies, however, are a bit harder to kite because they also kite. For example, a pig will run away after attacking, so you must time your attacks just after they use theirs. So as you can see, there are many ways to die in the world of Don't Starve, and I hope that after watching this video, you'll have the strategic edge you need that will help you start surviving. My last tips for new players are to always be prepared, don't fight everything you see, and to be smart with your actions. Every decision counts. Oh, and don't starve. Okay, so this happened mid-recording. This is not good for me. This does not bode well. This is, Ah! Oh! This is a boss! Oh, and there's hounds. Oh, they're gonna fight him! Oh! No! Oh, no! Not like this! Wait, this is the perfect time to explain kiting. So you can hit and run away and kill a lot of things in the game. Earclops is not a exception. You hit him twice and you can run away. Come back, hit him twice, run away. Happens. Hit him twice, run away. Hit him twice, run away. Hit him twice. You get the idea. Oh, sometimes there's error. Ah, like that. GG.